back to another video from English Solutions and Business and Life. Today we're going to be talking about our engineering course that we will correspond to Unit 13, and it will be about mechanical engineering. Alright, so let's give it a go now. We're going to be looking at the following words. I'm going to explain them briefly and give a couple of examples using them. This part normally focuses mostly on pronunciation rather than meaning. So if you have further questions or you request or require more examples, please refer to your teacher in class. Okay, so we have the first one, which is CDF. CDF. I want to talk about the exact meaning because this is our initials. The next one is a pressure vessel. Pressure vessel. Pressure vessel. The next word is CAD or CAD, but most people know it as CAD. There's actually a very famous software that uses this word, and we're going to define it. We're going to define exactly what it means. The next word is stress. 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 And when in terms of engineering, it has a different meaning rather than being angry or upset about an overwhelming situation. The next word is CAM, CAM or CAM, another set of initials. And once again, I'm going to explain more or less what they mean in general terms and how it's normally applied to engineering. Alright, so the first word being CDF, that stands for computational fluid dynamics. Alright, and it's the use of formulas to study how fluids and gases move. So we study with CDF, we are, actually we're not necessary to actually add it there. So with this we are talking about mostly about fluids. Even though a gas is not precisely a fluid, it applies to this terminology. The next word is pressure vessel, and it means all containers that hold liquid or gas, and of course, in very big amounts of quantity. I mean, very big amounts. Sorry about that. For example, at English Solutions, we specialize in designing pressure vessels. Well, I used English Solutions because that's the first thing I came up with. But let's say we have a name of a company in this part, right? Pressure vessels, containers for liquid or gas. They must be special, or they have to have certain standards, because the last thing we want is liquid or, even worse, gas leaking from a container. The next word is CAD or CAD, which stands for Computer Aided Design. So if I want to create a design of something, in this case we were talking about bezels, so the first thing that I might want to do is create a model in my computer. Whenever I do such thing, we're talking about a Computer Aided Design or CAD. Example, in order to work with CAD drafts or projects, a powerful PC is required. Why? Because normally this software that uses the CAD or CAD, requires a lot of processing power. So having a good computer is always recommended. Next word is stress, and that is directly has a direct relationship with pressure vessels, and that is a force that it presses against an object. And example, a full stress test must be run before using the pressure vessel. And this is obvious. We don't want liquid or gas to leak, so we need to run stress tests. The next word we have today is CAM or CAM, which stands for Computer Aided Manufacturing. So we have our design we created with CAD, but the moment we produce it, still using a computer, then it becomes a CAM thing or a process. Example, the use of computer technology to build machines. is called CAD or CAD. Oh, that looked like a P. Let's change that. Alright, now it looks more like a D or a very crappy O. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. Well, before saying goodbye for this section, I would like to provide you with a tip, and that tip is expose yourself to the language. No other person should have more interest in your learning than, of course, yourself. So always try to expose yourself to the language. Try to acquire as much input from as many sources as you can, that being movies, music, reading, books, internet, YouTube, etc., etc. This will guide you through the right path to speaking good English, and especially engineering English. And that'll be now for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you around in another video. Bye bye. Hello there, and welcome back to another video from your favorite English school, which happens to be English Solutions for Business and Life. This time around, we're going to be covering Unit 14 dedicated to electrical engineering. We're going to be learning some terminology, very basic terminology, probably terminology that you already know, but well, it doesn't hurt to review. And don't forget that we're working with our engineering course and book. Okay, so these are the words that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about them briefly. I'm going to give you some examples if possible or necessary. But like I said, most of these words you probably already know or use them both in English, in Spanish, or in Spanish, but they are similar to English, whatever. Okay, the first word is components. Components. The next word is circuit board. Circuit board. Notice that there's no U being pronounced, so make sure you don't pronounce it, okay? The next word is power supply. Power supply. And the next word is volt. Volt. The next word is watt. Watt. Next word being output power. Output power. And the last set of words is input or output voltage. Input or output voltage. Let's go over these real quick. Okay, so a component refers to all internal and external parts of a device. We're talking about if we separated a device such as an Xbox, we can find many parts of it. Those would be the components. Example, all components of a device have an assigned function or purpose. This is obvious because each part of a device will provide us with a benefit or a feature or convenience or, well, just that, a function. The next word is circuit board. Very common, you will see it very often, and you have probably dealt with it already. It contains all the programming of the device. It is, oh, there's a mistake in here. It is the main component of a product. You were talking about a PC, yes, and say we have here our cabinet or our tower. Here's our monitor. My drawing sucks, but anyways. So inside this part we would have the motherboard, which is nothing else but a circuit board that includes the processor. We can attach the RAM memory, we can attach our HDDs or hard drives, etc., etc. So that's main board is basically a big circuit board, including all the programming and the features of whatever device we're using. The next word would be power supply, and the power supply provides electricity to all the components. Yes, we normally have our circuit board with all its components. Say, well, let's imagine this is a circuit board, and right next to it, most of the times we have what is power supply, which is connected directly to the transformer, which goes to the light. Goes to the outlet, the power outlet, and provides energy to the circuit board or motherboard. Next word is a volt, and a volt is a measure of electrical potential. I'm not going to explain this too much about it because you probably know more than I do about this. So we're just going to skip it. The next one, same happens with watt, which is the measure of electrical power. All right. Once again, measure that you probably already know, a unit that you probably already use. So we're not going to go too deep on here. The next one is output power. This probably needs a little explanation. Output power. If we have our device, say I don't know, I like video games. Let's talk about an Xbox. We have a device here. This is our Xbox, and here the power it draws or it takes out or displays, that would be our output power, and that's the watts put out by the device, the power it has. And well, the difference between output and input is that output is what it comes out from the device, and input is that what comes in to the device. So pretty simple, coming out, coming in. No need to explain too much about it. Once again, we do not have a lot of time. And well, thank you very much for watching. Soon we'll be providing more tips for you, engineering student. Have a great one, and I'll see you on our next video. Hello there, and welcome back to another video from your favorite English school, which happens to be English Solutions for Business and Life. Alright, yeah. And this is a special one because we're going to finish book 1, which videos 1 through 15 for the engineering course. So it's been already a lot of time spent here with you guys. I hope that you are liking these videos, and most importantly, I hope that they're being helpful for you. So yeah, our engineering course, this is the last unit of book 1, which is unit 15, and refers to electrical engineering. Actually, that would be aerospace engineering. I might have made a mistake there. Let's correct it real quick. Aerospace, yeah. Oh, another mistake. We're distracted today. Oh my god. Aerospace engineering. Alright, so let's give it a go. Let's begin now. These are the words that we're going to be checking today. I'm going to explain them, perhaps give a couple of examples if necessary. But those examples will be spoken, they will not be written. Why? Because this terminology might be a little not complex or difficult, whatever. We probably will understand it really easily, but giving too many examples can lead to this video being too long. So let's check the pronunciation first. We have propellant. Propellant. Let me change to black real quick. Propellant. And then we have the next word, which is a verb, and it's launch. Launch. The next word here on our list is velocity. Velocity. The next word is Mach. Mach. Next word is thrust. Thrust. We're going to talk a little bit about that pronunciation later on. And licensed production. Licensed production. Alright, so let's begin. A propellant. Quite simple. It is fuel used in engines of a vehicle that flies through the air. So that's the fuel for planes. Pretty much that explains it. We can have it just like that. Fuel for planes most of the time. Alright, that would be our propellant. The next word is launch, and that is a verb, and that means to push something into the air very quickly. Yes, so we can launch a missile, we can launch a rocket, and of course whenever we can also launch a plane. Plane launches from its state or still position, and it starts flying through the air, and so it's launched. Next word is velocity, and that is a measurement of how far something travels in a set amount of time. So how long does it take me to take to point A to point B? Yes, this is the time it takes. So the time is the measurement, and that's called velocity. A synonym of this would be speed. Yeah, they're synonyms. Next word in the list is Mach, and this is a unit, a measuring unit for the speed of something in comparison to the speed of sound. Right? So sound plays an important role here. Alright, so we had a little interruption there, so let's go back to where we were at. So just recapping real quick, Mach is a unit of measuring the speed of something in comparison to the speed of sound. Let's move on to our next item, which is thrust. Pronunciation, remember the TH in English has a sound that we do not have in Spanish, and that is just putting your tongue between your teeth. When you do this, the sound comes like this. It is very similar to the C in European Spanish. And we require some practice for some people, but once you get it done or get it down, you should have no problem pronouncing it. It is very important to identify certain words, and also very important not to confuse others. So make sure you give it a good practice before we use it in conversation. Especially we're working or we're using English to work. So thrust is the force exerted by an engine that causes a vehicle to fly through the air. Yes, so that means that the force or the strength or the energy that we apply to an object, that would be our thrust. Of course, we're talking about flying because we're talking about aerospace engineering. Next word in the list and final is a licensed production. And a licensed production is the practice of paying a company for the right to produce something it has designed. So license refers to official, something that has been certified, or it's official, like I just repeated 3 times already. So all right, before we're done, I would like to appreciate a lot your time for listening, watching these videos at home, or with your tablet or computer or laptop, whatever. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in book 2. Thank you very much, and this is Emmanuel Cruz saying goodbye just for now. Goodbye.